So the best thing that I'm going to do is to first recap. We have to recap the things that we have done with Mr. Chabalala, because what I'll be doing starting from today, it needs the background of what we did with Mr. Chabalala. What you did with Mr. Chabalala is very, very important. Because if you didn't follow from the previous two chapters, it might be difficult for you to follow now. So the first thing that I'm going to do is for us to recap what we have done with Mr. Chabalala for the first period. And the second period, now I will introduce the new chapter, which is multiple linear regression. It's just an extension of what you have done with Mr. Chabalala. That's why I'm saying it's very, very important for you to not memorize, understand, because understanding is what is important in our case here. If you memorize, you will have a problem. So again, whatever you have done with Mr. Chabalala, especially when coming to the calculations, make sure that whatever you have calculated, you know how to interpret your findings. Whatever you have calculated or you have drawn, you must make sure that you know how to interpret your findings. For example, let me just give you a simple example. A scatter plot. What can you say about a scatter plot? You cannot just draw a scatter plot and then you don't say something about it. You cannot find the coefficients, you cannot estimate the parameters, maybe beta 0 and beta 1, but after finding those, you fail to interpret. Interpreting your findings is very, very important, because it's not always the case that we'll ask you to do some calculations. We can give you a problem, a solved problem, and we ask you to interpret the findings. So interpreting what you have calculated is very, very important. So another thing, I will need a timekeeper, not my class reps. Already they're overloaded. When you have problems, you report to them. So I will need someone whom I can work with when coming to time. What is going to happen is that I will teach for the first 45 minutes. If we check from the timetable, we have a break there. We can agree that we break for 5 minutes and then we continue. So the timekeeper, for control, we must have someone who's responsible to remind us about that break. So I will request one member from the class to help me with that one. Who are you? Your surname, please?
Smanga R.
Or Smanga?
Yeah.
So as a timekeeper, you cannot dodge classes. I'm not encouraging other guys to dodge classes, but make sure that you are here. And then let's discuss about this break. If you guys, majority of you, you join late, because remember our class is supposed to start at 7:30. If you join late, maybe majority of you guys, you join around 7:35. It means you took your 5 minutes, Remember, your break is supposed to be 10 minutes. So if you are late by 10 minutes, I start my class late, it means you won't have a break. But if I start exactly at 7:30, it means you deserve that break. So the break will be controlled by what time are we starting with our class. So any question based on what I just said? Any question? The second thing, asking questions. For control, whenever you have a question or you need clarity or you want to say something to the group, you can simply press that button there to indicate that you have a question. Don't wait for me to finish everything and then you ask question at the end. No, whenever you have a question, raise up your hand. I'll be able to see it from my side. The mic, I won't restrict you from not saying something, but let's control it. Don't just talk whenever you want to talk, please. Let's do it in the form of just raise up your hand and then I will notice you. I think that's all for now. And then whatever I'm going to teach from now onwards, it will form part of, is this to be the scope for the second test, not the first test. Whatever I'm going to cover today onwards is the scope for test 2, not test 1. So let's recap, guys. I will just project the flow chart that Mr. Chabalala used before so that we can have a direction on. So I will ask questions. When I ask questions, you can answer by typing on the charts, or you can raise up your hand and you answer my question. I'll be asking questions just to recap, to check if you didn't forget what Mr. Chabalala taught you. So let me share the notes with you. So feel free, guys. And again, feel free. You must feel guilty if you leave the class without saying something. You must be free. You must make sure that you participate. Don't say, I have my friend will explain what my leg is saying. Please, you are here to learn. So if you don't understand something, don't say because majority, they understand. Now it means I also understand. If you don't understand, you don't understand. You have that right to get clarity from me. I don't have a problem with that. If I notice that maybe it needs more time, I can ask you to remain behind so that we can have what we can discuss more. So let me share the notes with you. So I'm still, Semester Manga will be our timekeeper. So after each and every 45 minutes, he will make a signal that is that time where you need to go for, where you need a smoking break. Those who want to go and get a glass of water, they will just rush and get that glass of water. If you want to go to the office of the president, you'll be able to do that with that break. Those who want to ask questions, you can also use that break. That break, we can use it for a lot of things. So let me share the notes. I repeat, whenever you have a question, feel free to ask. Feel free to ask. You are here to learn, isn't it? You are here to learn. So this is, I assume you remember this from Mr. Chawala's class. So we're going to take the first 45 minutes, and I think we're left with almost 20 minutes or 25 minutes to recap. Let's recap what we have done with Mr. Chawala. Can you see the projected notes? Can you see my notes?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So now I will be asking questions based on this scatter plot. Sorry, the flow chart. Now, if you can check, the first thing that is on the flow chart is the scatter plot. The question that I may ask you is, why is it necessary for one to draw a scatter plot? You do it when you want to respond, just raise up your hand there. Order matters. Whoever came first, I will recognize that person. Why is it necessary for one to draw a scatter plot when dealing with simple linear regression? Did you get my question? Why is it necessary for when you are given a data set to draw a scatter plot? What can you get from the scatter plot? Let's check the answer from leadership. Let's check the answers from the two members from the charts. The first one is saying to check for linearity among the plots. And then the other member is leadership Bukosi. She's saying to check if the relationship is linear. And then the third one, Refilo, is saying to study the relationship between X and Y. So whenever, as I've indicated at the beginning, whenever you draw something, you should be able to explain whatever your findings. Let's check the answers from these three members. Whenever you answer, you respond to a question, don't say, Omarulek will understand what I'm talking about. Let's go to the statement from the second member there, which is Bukosi. She's saying to check if the relationship is linear. Is the statement complete? Is the statement complete? Let's go to the statement by Refilwe. Is the statement complete? Let's go to the statement by the first member. Is the statement complete? What we need, for me, for us to get a correct answer, something that is missing from Bukosi's statement is there in Refilwe's statement. So you have to convince yourself that whatever I'm writing here is correct. If you're not convinced that what you wrote there is correct, it's a problem. When you draw a scatter plot, you are looking for what? To check if there is a linear. Because if you can check Refilwe, you said yes, the Refilwe statement is correct, but it's not. When you draw a scatter plot, you want to check if the two variables of interest, they have a linear relationship. Do you understand? You have to check if the relationship that you see there, is it linear? That is the main reason why you have to draw a scatter plot. The question that may arise is that hey, people are sharing numbers now. What's happening? Class rep, as I've indicated, your responsibility is too much. So,
Sir,
guys,
I'm with Mr. Manyama here. I'm with
yes.
Mr. Manyama here. My phone is off. I can't log into WhatsApp and add those people. I'm not attending right now, but I'm attending with Mr. Manyama.
No, that's fine. Thank you, class rep. Guys, let's be professional. Let's be professional. You cannot ask your class rep to add you on WhatsApp now while your class rep is attending. So it means you're simply, I can simply say you are busy disturbing the leadership. So please, let's pause now, Nyana, for the WhatsApp issue, the numbers. Remember, we have a break to do that. Remember, I told you that we'll have a break, a 10 minutes break. That break is the break that we can use to ask for the class rep to help you with the group thing. So for now, class reps are also attending like you guys. So let's control that one. As I was saying, we're talking about the scatter plot. 3 members answered, but we have a problem with the way they have answered the question. We said the first one said to check for linearity amongst the plots. There's something wrong again with that statement. Which plots are you talking about? So whenever you're interpreting something, make sure that you are clear on what you are saying. You must be clear what you are saying. All the 3 statements to me, they look correct, but they're not correct. The first statement, the person said to check if for linearity amongst the plots. Which plots? I have a question there. The second one, Vukosi, to check if relationship is linear. The relationship of what? The third one, to study the relationship between X and Y. You see? But what we're looking for there is, can our scatter plot tell us something before we can even do more calculations? Can the scatter plot give us an idea on what will be happening in our data set? So the question that may follow is that, assuming that you draw a scatter plot and the relationship that you get there is not linear, what do you suspect with your model? You suspect that maybe the model won't be good, isn't it? You suspect that, since the scatter plot is showing me a curvilinear relationship between X and Y, I might have a problem here. So which test are you going to perform to check for that? If your model will give you, will predict correct information or not. Assuming that when you draw a scatter plot, you're seeing a curvilinear relationship. So to check if indeed your model is good or not, which test are you going to perform? We have done this with Mr. Chavala. Now you want to check if your model is good. What are you going to use? Which test are you going to perform? Did you get my question? Lack of fit. True, it's correct. The test that you're going to check to perform is what? Test for lack of fit. From the scatter plot, you suspect that something is not right. But to validate that, you don't make assumptions here. To validate that, you will validate it by doing what? By testing for lack of fit. Now, You estimate the model parameters. That is another thing that we can do to estimate the model parameters. Can you give me a case where beta 0, the estimated beta 0 does not have a meaning? It's possible that when you want to interpret your intercept, it doesn't make sense. Can one give me a case when you try to interpret an intercept, find that no, whatever I'm saying, yes, it doesn't make sense. This one, it means someone has to say something. But it's fine. You write it down whenever you're preparing for the test, because now we're checking if you are ready for the test. The test one. Whatever I'm asking here is based on test one. It's related to test one. So some of the tests that you have performed, yes. Some of the things, some of the tests that you have performed is the t-test and the global test, where you use the ANOVA table. Why is it necessary for one to use the ANOVA table? Or what is the difference between the ANOVA table and the t-test? What is the difference between those two tests? We're preparing for the test, guys. Assume that this question was there in the test. What's the difference between the t-test and the global test, which is the ANOVA table? Guys, I'm asking difficult questions because my questions, I think, they are not difficult. Because my questions are based on the application part. Yes, Mr. Omo.
Sir, can I try?
Yes.
I think when we're using the ANOVA approach, we're going to test like our parameters or whatever based on our errors, like the MSC and so on. But when we're using the T approach, we just said like we set values that if we find our test on these values, it means that we'll reject and so on. But on the ANOVA one, we'll be using our errors. I'm not sure whether I've said everything.
It's fine. Let me rephrase my question then. Suppose you are given a problem, and when you test for when you perform the global test where you use the ANOVA table, in the case of simple linear regression, you reject the null hypothesis. What will happen when you perform the t-test? When coming to the rejection, will you reject or fail to reject? Let me repeat. Suppose you are given a simple linear regression problem. When you are performing a test there, your decision is that you reject the null hypothesis, and then in favor of the other one, the alternative. What will be the decision when you are using the t-test? You have rejected when you're using the ANOVA table. What will be the decision when you're using the t-test?
Also reject.
What will be the decision when you want to use the confidence intervals? Because I assume Mr. Chavala told you that when you want to make some tests, you can use the ANOVA table. You can use the what? Like when testing for individuals, sorry, you can use the t-test or what? The confidence interval, isn't it? But be careful. It will only be the case provided you use the same like a level of significance. Because if from the ANOVA table you tested using 5%, but when you do the t-test, you decide to use a different level, you may have different answers. So for you not to be confused, whenever if for the ANOVA table you use the 5% to test, even when you do the t-test, please continue with that with the same level. Because if you change the level, it may change the decision. Fine with that one. Let's go. Almost done with, I'm just summarizing. I want to check the level of understanding before we go deeper. Mr. Smanga. Ms. Manga, is that time? I think it's having a network problem, this one. Now I want
sir,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can
I
hear
am
you now.
saying what you are saying with the difference with the t-test and ANOVA table, it will be on the level of significance, right? If the level of significance is not the same, then there will be a difference. What is actually the difference?
No, I'm saying, no, then let me explain. I'm saying, assume that you are given a problem, and then you decide to use 5% level of significance. You get that part. And then, because when you're using that 5% level of significance, you do the test for using the ANOVA table. I'm saying when you move to the t-test, please don't change to have same results, like what the leaders were saying, that if I rejected from the ANOVA table, I'm expecting to do what? To also reject when dealing with what? When dealing with the t-test, provided I'm testing for the slope. But if from the ANOVA table you use the 5% level of significance, and then when you want to perform the t-test, you decide to use 10%, you may get different results. You may find that now when you want to reject, when you want to take a decision, you find that now when you use the t-test, you're no longer rejecting, you're failing to reject. What caused that? One of the reasons it will be what? It will be because you have changed what? The level of significance. So if from the global test you use 10%, even for the t-test, continue with that 10%. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not sure if you follow Mr. Smang. Yes, Ms. Bang.
Sir, you asked a question of what is the difference between the t-test and the global ANOVA. This is the global
Yes,
test. So you never, I didn't hear you saying the answer. You just gave an example.
yes. I want you to try before, because I noticed that only 1% tried, which is Mr. Homo. That's why I rephrased the question. I want you guys, because we have done these things with Mr. Chawala, by now you must be in a position to answer that question, because it's one of the easiest questions that I don't expect you guys to fail by now. What's happening, Mushushu? No, I want you guys to, we're checking if you are ready for the assessment. So if I ask questions and then at the end of the day, I give you the answers, I don't think it will be right. You try, we discuss it until we get to the solution. But if you're not trying and I give you answers, it means you are not ready for the judgment day. And it's not far, remember. So whatever I'm asking is based on what Mr. Chabalala taught you. So if you're still having some problems, revisit your notes. Revisit your notes, say, hey, I missed this point. And then Mr. Malek is asking me this question, and I don't know the answer. Can I please revisit Mr. Chabala's notes? I cannot continue to other chapters without knowing this one. That is the main reason why I had to go back to chapter 2 and chapter 3, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Otherwise, I was supposed to be continuing with chapter 3. But it's very, very important that everything that Mr. Chabala taught you, you understand it. Not memorizing. I don't know if you understand, Mr. Smanga. So I want you guys to try, think about the answer, and then during break, we can still deliberate on it. The last one from what is it? Because whatever I'm touching now is linked to what I'll be doing on chapter 3. So you must make sure that you know the simple linear regression part, so that when I get to chapter 3, it will make my life easy. Now let's check the plot again, the scatter, sorry, the flow chart, the residuals. Mr. Chabala taught you how to interpret the residuals. Why is it important to do residual analysis? Why is it important? Because at your level, guys, you must understand one thing. We cannot ask you that define what is regression. Oh, that one is a first year question. It's a first level question. We cannot ask you to define what is regression, what is hypothesis testing. No. At your level, you must distinguish. Like I can ask you, distinguish the difference between a scatter plot and simple linear regression. I'm not saying define what is a scatter plot and define what is a simple linear regression. No, distinguish the difference, or scatter plot and correlation coefficient. How do they differ? Distinguish the difference. Do you understand? Don't expect questions like define what is residual analysis, define what is a scatter plot. No. Those one questions are first year questions. At your level, you must be able to make some comparisons. So that's another question that I'm having that I nearly forgot. What is the difference between a scatter plot and correlation coefficient? Distinguish the two. How do they differ? Scatter plot? Yes. Who's talking? I said in the form of hands for control. Just thank you, Christopher.
Can I try?
Yes, please.
The correlation. What did you say? The correlation of what?
Correlation. How can you distinguish between the correlation coefficient and the scatter plot?
The correlation coefficient measures the strength of the relationship that we see on the scatter plot.
The strength of the relationship. Please, what is your name? Can you please press that button again, so that if I can say, how do you pronounce your first name?
Tutu.
Tuto.
Yes.
If I can say tu, say toha, will you understand that I'm referring to you? No, isn't it? If I say tu, I remove the to. You want to understand if I'm referring to you, isn't it? Let's go back leadership. You're saying
yes.
Correlation coefficient is what?
It measures the relationship between X and
The strength.
Y.
You said the strength of the relationship between let's go leadership. Don't cut. Yes.
Between
the dependent
X
variable
and
and
Y
the independent variable, isn't it?
Yes.
So when you say to distinguish them, say the to check for the strength of the relationship between the variables, you must be specific. Which variables are you talking about, isn't it? It shows understanding. So you know now you have indicated that from the scatter plot, you check the type of a relationship, isn't it? But the strength, you'll use what? The correlation coefficient to check for the strength of that relationship. which is good. Now, let's go to the last part because I'm left with 6 minutes to break. Smanga left. I don't know if we can have someone to go on standby in case Smanga, because Smanga now he left and it's our timekeeper. Now let's move to the residuals. Why is it necessary to perform residual analysis? Why is it necessary to perform residual analysis? Did you get my question? Why is it necessary to perform residual analysis? Here we need understanding, not memorization. We don't have to memorize. We need someone who understands what is happening. So all these questions that I've been asking, if by now you don't know the answer, please write the questions down, go back to the drawing board, try to answer those questions. Yes, leadership, Christopher.
As a residual analysis, we want to
Yes.
test the assumptions of the errors.
Yes. It's part of what? Remember, lack of fit is part of the test that you'll be performing, isn't it? Isn't it? Lack of fit
Yes.
is part of residual analysis. Let me remind you, lack of fit is part of residual is part of the residual analysis. You will check for constant variance by using those plots. You'll check which one are you talking about? Leadership, leadership Mushushu. Am I calling your name correctly? Leadership, leadership. They call your name correctly. Tapelo. Okay, it's fine. Let me call you Tapelo. Can I please get your question? It's not clear from the chat. It's to test what? Which test are you referring to? Which test are you referring to, leadership?
Sir, I'm talking
Yes.
about the question that he just answered.
Or the residual analysis?
Yeah, that question of why is it necessary to perform residual analysis?
Yes. Yes. Your answer is?
No, I wanted to know what did he say, like the answer. I didn't hear the answer, like the network cut me out.
Is to assess the model. Is a way to assess if the model that you have generated, if it will give you correct results or not. In short, the reason why I have assessed the model, I have assessed the model without performing residual analysis, which is linked to the what? Which is linked to the errors. You must know the assumptions of simple linear regression. Let's start from there, leadership. What are the assumptions of simple linear regressions? That's what we're checking. The first one is what? Assumptions of simple linear regression. Let's go, Tapelo, the first one. Even if the order doesn't matter, do you know one of the properties of simple linear regression?
It must be normally distributed.
Thank you, normally distributed. Another one, let's go. Give me 5. No, not you, Tapelo. Anyone can come in. I heard that you stole his answer.
Linearity.
The sum of linearity. So far, I got 2. Bring in the scatter plot. Bring in the scatter plot. What can you say about the scatter plot? Scatter plot. The first thing that we've done is part of, we can form part of the assumptions. The relationship should be linear, isn't it? Between X and Y. And then the fourth one, you have, I think last week, there's another test that you performed. It's what? It's part of the assumptions. You performed the test last week with Mr. Chabalala. What were you checking there last week? Guys, did you attend Mr. classes? Up now, I'm worried. Were you attending Mr. Chabalala's classes?
Independence.
Checking, you used which method? What did you use to check for independence?
Simple linear.
Wow, checking for independence. DW.
Scatter plot.
What is the meaning of DW? Guys, were you attending Mr. Chabalala's classes?
Devin, what?
Yes. Leadership, Christopher.
Another assumption is that the errors have equal variance.
Equal variance. Thank you. So that section is one of the important sections in our for this module. Let's recall. You said you managed to run a scatter plot between x and y to check for linear relationship between x and y. That is the first one. The second one, you checked for the independence, if the errors are independent, by using what? By using a DW test, the Benoist test. You checked for if the variance is constant, isn't it? By assessing the plot. You checked for normality by using, I don't know which one you used. Did you use the QQ plot or you used the what? Use the QQ plot or you use the histogram? For when you're checking for normality, what did you use? I'm coming, Mrs. Manga. When you're checking for normality, what did you use?
Procedure.
You used what? I mean the plot that you used. Is it the QQ plot or the histogram?
Histogram.
The histogram. So there's a last one that you're not supposed to miss, which goes with what? Which goes with this one here. Don't miss this one, guys. Influential points. Mrs. Manga? Mrs. Manga? Yes, Mrs. Manga. We're listening. I think it's having a network problem because it was coming in and out coming. I think it's having a network problem. So now, the last part is influential data points. Which method did you use to check for influential data points? Yes, Smanga. Yes, leadership, Christopher.
The leverage procedure.
The leverage procedure. It's not the only method to be used, but it's fine if you know the leverage procedure. But you have other methods that can be used, isn't it? Do you know of the other two methods that are in your guide that can be used to check for influential observations? They're there in your study guide. We have another two methods except this one. The other two. Do you know the methods?
No, didn't do that.
They're there in your study guide. Doing them is another thing. But I'm saying, if we have done one with Ms. Chavala, but we have another two methods that can be used. Other two methods can be used. Yes, leadership, Peruano.
Yeah, it's the jackknives and the Cox methods.
Thank you very much. There's jackknife. It can also be used to check for influential observation. And there's Cook's distance. So remember, whatever you get from class is the summary of what is in the study guide. So sometimes visiting the study guide is very, very important. You have to visit the study guide, check what is there. Whatever Mr. Chavala is teaching you, there's no way that you can put everything in teach you each and every. So some of the things that are there in the study guide. So sometimes you must visit the study guide and check what is there. So please, guys, make sure that you read for understanding. Don't memorize. If you memorize, you'll have a problem. It's 8:20. I noticed that Mr. Smanga is having a network problem. Can we have someone who can be on standby when coming to time checking the time for break? Can we have another person who can help Mr. Smanga when he's having network problem? Leadership Christopher, do you mind?
Or whom will do it?
Sorry, Omune. Omu?
Yeah, whom?
Omu? Yeah, please, you will remind us about the break if Mr. Smanga. You'll work together with Mr. Smanga. So now it's 20 past. Let's break for 5 minutes. Go ahead and grab that cup of coffee. And then at 25 past, now we go to the new section. But in short, whatever we'll be doing there is what's on the flow chart, but under multiple linear. We're still going to follow the very same flow chart, but under multiple linear regression. We're still going to follow everything that we have done with Mete Chabala is just an extension of that. So we'll be following this flow chart again for the remaining chapters. I thank you. So let's break for 5 minutes. The 25 past. We'll come back to continue with chapter 2. Now you can use this time to ask for the class rep with numbers and so forth. But when we're having a class, please avoid asking a class rep to add you on the group. Use this time to do that because we're having it's break time. So we'll break for 5 minutes. At the 25 past, we'll continue. I thank you.
Menier. Say.
Yes,
Mr.
Brother
Malek,
Thomas.
say.
Yes. Is it two? Is
Let's
Mango?
continue. Let's continue.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chabala just joined us. It seems like there's something that you owe him. So he will give you the message. You want to discuss something with you before he go to do some other stuff. Mr. Chabalala? Mr. Chabalala? Did you unmute your mic, Mr. Chabalala?
لا شو رندلك رندلك ورا شو شيشة بسوس. Good morning, guys. How are
Mr.
you?
Chabalala, you can go on, discuss with your leaders.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I forgot to discuss with you the issue of groups. Remember, I once mentioned that you are going to write assignments in groups, or the practical assignments in groups. So I forgot to do that. So we are not going to divide you. We want you to group yourselves. So we are not going to divide you. So please group yourselves with a minimum of 10 members. So if a group is small, should have 10 members, then a maximum of 15. So you must not be less than 10 and not more than 15. So please try to find members as soon as possible, because when we give assignments, we don't want to hear people saying that no, they don't have groups, they don't know their members. So we are not dividing you for that reason, because we don't want to choose people that you don't know, or you don't know how to reach out to those people. So please, guys, group yourselves. Make sure that you are not less than 10 in a group, and you are not more than 15. I hope the message is clear. Mr. Maleke, over to you. Thank you.
Mr. Chabalala, to
Yes.
check the progress, what are this after creating the group? Should they send their names to us so that to check the progress?
Yes. When they are sure that the group it's fine, they have enough members, they can send the group to us so that we can give them the number. Remember, these groups must have numbers, that this is group 1, group 2. So they have to send us the names so that we can allocate the number, so that it will be easy when we give them the questions. We'll know that group 1 is having this question, and then group 2 is having that question. So they must send us their names so that we can assign them the number. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chabalala. So starting from today, right? They can do it starting from today, sending this number, the group.
Yes, they can do it from today, so they can start working on finding members to create those groups. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chabalala. Please, leaders, share the message with the other guys who are not here. We don't know what could be the reason why they're not part of our class. I want to say this: attending a class is one of the important things, because we are not. This not. This is not like UNISA, where it's distance learning. Your curriculum is designed in such a way that you should attend, you should be taught before you go to it, before you will assess you. It's not like UNISA, where you find that you have to read all these things on your own without any help. So this one is designed, your module is designed in such a way that we have to teach you. So please take your classes serious. I understand leadership, Kenny there, saying it's load shedding. But your load shedding should also affect WhatsApp. Find people that are not attending, but they're saying they don't have network, but they're on WhatsApp. When you say you have load shedding, it means it must affect everything. Not you choose that I want the load shedding to affect my classes, and you decide not to attend. Because I heard there's an issue of people saying that, guys, you are here to learn. Find a way to attend take our classes serious. We're here to help you. We're here to help you guys. So take your classes serious. So we're done with this one. So the influential points, because we still cover this section when we're dealing with multiple linear regression. The influential points, suppose you are drawing a scatter plot, you notice an outlier there from the scatter plot of between X and Y. You notice an outlier there. Can you say that outlier is influential from the scatter plot of X and Y? Can you say it's influential from the scatter plot of X and Y? Yes, how do you pronounce your name, Mr. Smang? Oh, sorry. Everyone, those who will answer, they said no. What could be the reason? Why are you saying no, Raymond? How can you explain that outlier? How will you explain that outlier? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Christopher. Thank you very much, Raymond. We have to test from the scatter plot of X and Y. You can comment about your suspicion that there's one or two points which looks which I suspect they might be influential. You have to suspect from the scatter plot until you do what? You do the test. You told me that Mr. Chavalala taught you how to use the leverage procedure, which is fine. So from the scatter plot of X and Y, when you have an outlier, they just say you suspect, because there's not all outliers are influential. Let me give you a simple example. Not all outliers are influential. Let me go to the whiteboard. Suppose you have a scatter, you have this, and then you have point here. You have point here, and then you have a point here. Not all outliers are influential. We have another one here. It's a scatter plot. Né? You see, do you notice the difference between the two outliers? Do you notice the difference between the two outliers? The second outlier, there's this outlier here, and then this outlier here. If you can check from the first plot one, and plot 2. plot 2. If we can check the first outlier there, we suspect this is an outlier, isn't it? But we cannot say it's influential because not all outliers are what? Are influential. Because let's say we want to fit that regression line. You may find that when you fit the regression line, something like this. But now when we fit the regression line this side, we can see what to say. There's this outlier. It can change. This one here, we can suspect that it might be influential because it can change the what? It can change the direction of the slope. It can change the direction of the slope. Instead of this line moving in this direction, you find that now it's like this. Because of what? But we cannot tell. We only suspect if the outlier is influential from the scatter plots. But there's another method that can be used to check for outliers. We agree that we can check for outliers using the scatter plot. Because scatter plot, we said we suspect if it's an outlier. Leverage procedure, we confirm if that outlier that we suspected is influential. But there's another plot that can be used to check for outliers. Can anyone recall the plot? It's plot of what that can be used to check for outliers. There's another plot that we can use to check for outliers. Anyone who can still recall from Mr. Chabala's section? Leadership, Christopher?
The residual versus X.
Let me correct you. The standardized residuals, isn't it, leadership, Christopher? The standardized one. Yeah, standardized residuals. Remember, the one that you are telling me now, if we draw that plot, you will just be checking for what? You'll be just checking for the relationship between. I want to remove everything. Sorry for that. The one that you are saying, leadership, Christopher, is to check for the relationship between. The plot that you're talking about of errors instead of y here. If it's EI, if it's AI versus XI, I changed the plot now. It's no longer a scatter plot for checking for the for linear relationship now. This one, AI versus XI, it goes back to what? It goes back to checking for constant variance. But if we standardize this one, remember the standardized one is what? I think it's EI divided by the square root of MSE. You can check it from the thing. So this plot of EI standardized residuals versus YI hat, YI or YI hat. This is the plot, another plot that can be used to check for what? For if we have an outlier in our data set. But to confirm if the outlier is influential, we use the 3 methods. Remember, the scatter plot, you can check if the outlier is there. This plot of AI divided by the square root of MSE, which is the standardized residuals versus YI, or YI hat. This plot can be used to check if we have an outlier again. But to check if that outlier is influential, we need those 3 methods, which is what? Jackknife, leverage procedure, and Cook's distance. So I'm happy with the way we discussed the first 2 chapters. So it means we won't have a challenge now when moving forward. So the new section, as I've indicated before break, is the extension of simple linear regression. This is the extension of simple linear regression. The slide is coming. It's chapter 3. This is just an extension of simple linear regression. Sorry for that. It's an extension of simple linear regression. That's why I was saying we have now learned about some basic aspects of linear regression. It reminds me of another definition now. With me now, I'm interested in understanding the theory before doing some calculations. Theory is very, very important. What is the difference between linear regression and simple linear regression? How can you define linear regression? Not simple linear regression. What is the difference between linear regression and simple linear regression? Let's go, guys. I don't hear ladies in my class. What's happening? It's only guys in this class. Ladies, this one is for ladies. Hey, Christoph, this one is for ladies. Difference between linear regression and simple linear regression. Theory is very, very important, guys. How can we define simple linear regression? Ladies, anyone to represent the ladies? It's fine, Christopher. Christopher, help them for now. Yes, help them, Christopher.
Simple linear regression is a linear regression with only one independent variable.
Yes. And then linear regression.
Linear regression is, I don't know what I'll say.
We write it down, you go back to, because this one, I think is there from Mr. Chawala's notes. You must know what is linear regression before you can even explain, or before you can even explain what is simple linear regression. It started from linear regression. Because now you said that simple linear regression is what? How did you define simple linear regression? Leadership, Christopher? I'm coming, Sacramento? Yes?
I said it's linear regression where there's only one independent variable.
Okay. Well, I feel like there's something's missing there. Leadership?
Sir.
Yes?
Can I chat?
Yeah, please, please. No, that's why leadership. Feel free in this class. That's why I say you must feel jealous if we finish the class and then you didn't even say anything. You must feel guilty. Yes, let's go.
Linear regression is a module which is used to best describe the data that has been observed.
Bring in the number of variables which are there to bring in the variables that will be there.
Is it the X and Y variables?
Yeah, X and Y, but in weight is what and what? Where you have only one dependent variable and one independent variable, isn't it?
Yeah,
that is simple linear regression.
Yeah.
Yes. Again, you can get the what? You can get the definition from the term simple linear regression, isn't it? You can get the definition from there. We're checking for the linear relationship between X and Y, but you are restricted to what? To only one independent variable, isn't it?
Yes,
we cannot have two. So that is the thing. So when we move to this section, which is chapter 3. Now, where there was simple, we remove that simple and we put multiple linear regression. Understanding the definition of simple linear regression, you can generate the definition of multiple. We said from simple linear regression, we are restricted to have what? One independent variable. So can someone give me, even though you're seeing this for the first time, can someone give me the definition of multiple linear regression? Definition of multiple linear regression? You know how to define simple linear regression. So now when it's multiple, what do we mean by that multiple? Because the only thing that changed there is the term multiple. It was simple, now it's multiple. Yes, leadership, Refilwe. To represent the ladies, Refilwe.
Sir?
Yes. Represent the ladies.
Sir, I was just saying that for multiple linear regression, we are saying that it has more than one independent variable.
Yes. You are right, Refilwe. You are 100% correct. Now, this one, that's why I said this is an extension of what? It's an extension of simple linear regression. Instead of having one independent variable, you'll have more than. Now we extend. Let's check this one. Now, oh, sorry. Now we extend. Now we extend. Let's check this in part here. Now we have extended to a case where we include more than one independent variable. Now we can have as many independent variables as possible. What type of independent variables are we expecting? That's another question that can follow. What type of independent variables can we expect? Let me take you back. Dependent variable. Let's take dependent variable. A variable. Oh, sorry, typing error. Dependent variable. This variable is y, isn't it? Your y variable. Can your y variable be a qualitative variable? Can your y be a qualitative variable? Leaders? No. Christopher said no. Let me not ask the reason why. Can.
Sir,
Yes.
can you repeat your question?
Can your dependent variable be a variable from categorical, be a categorical variable? Can y be a categorical variable? That was my question. Can you fit a regression model where your y is gender? Categorical, remember, is something that is not numerical by nature, isn't it? Can you fit a model where your dependent variable y is categorical? That is my question, leadership. Did you get my question? Can we fit a model where our dependent variable is a categorical variable? The answer is no. The answer is no, because we expect our y to be from a quantitative to be a quantitative variable. There is an argument there, or some textbooks will even say that, and that quantitative variable should be a continuous variable. Most of the textbooks, that's what they're saying, that this y variable, besides being quantitative, it should be what? Continuous. So we know that always, let me just put it in a general form, your y variable always what? It's always, you don't have to write it, it's always a quantitative variable. It's always a quantitative variable. Can someone give us an example of this? Is first year stuff. Do you know what do you mean when you say quantitative variables? Example of quantitative variables? Any example of quantitative variables? Give me few examples. Examples of quantitative variables. Max, thank you. Max, height. Let's go. That's why I said if we knock off without you saying something, you must feel guilty. You must feel guilty of, hey, I attended the class, I didn't say something. This is your time to say something. Write something there. Even if you can copy someone's work, even if you can say Max again, you know you have said something. They're giving us the answers there. So you see, I don't want us to have a problem in a later stage. Y variable, dependent variable is always a continuous. Water. What do you mean by water? So, and so forth. You can write it. Thank you, leaders. I'm saying if you can even copy someone's work, make sure that you say something before we knock off. It said Max, height, and so forth. The other ones that are listed there, which is correct. But let's go to the independent variable. Independent variables, which is xi. Now let's talk about these independent variables. This one, they can take any value. They can take any value from quantity or qualitative. Yeah, someone said water. I wanted to get clarity about water there. What type of answers are you expecting from water? Now let's move to the independent variables. We agreed that the dependent variable were restricted to use quantitative variables, but for independent variables, we can use any type. It can be qualitative, it can be quantitative. Quantitative, the leaders already indicated there. Can I please get examples of qualitative, sorry. Qualitative variables can be what? Color, age. Hey, the water guy. Hey, why are you saying water? Maybe let's just pause. What do you mean by water? Are you still thinking for what do you mean by water? Should I write water here under qualitative? Gender. Yes. So you see, so now there will be a case where we're having a problem, but that problem has what? Categorical information. We can use that. So whenever we are having an independent variable, qualifies to take any format, a quantitative variable or a quantitative variable, said race, and so forth. So now, whenever you're given a data set, you must be careful of finding which one is your dependent variable. It's not always the case that we will tell you that this is your dependent variable. No. From your from the question itself, you will be able to do what? You must be able to tell which one is your dependent variable. Let me just give you a simple example. You are religion, you are right leadership. So whenever coming to the independent variable, it can be continuous, can be discrete, it can be non-numeric, which is color, age, race. Now, let me give you a simple example. This is the example that I usually use. You want to know what can influence the test marks, your test 1 marks. What can influence your test 1 marks? So it means our marks is what? Our marks is Y. What can influence your score? Let me indicate some of the things. Total number of hours you use to prepare, isn't it? Total number of hours preparing the test. Preparing. Let's go. There are many factors that can influence your what? Your test marks. I said total number of or what? Time spent reading, isn't it? Someone saying, sorry for my spelling there. Number of books. Let's go, guys. Some of them is that they just happened now today. It said attendance, isn't it? Attending classes is very, very important. If you're not attending, chances are very high that even you are not even doing any. You are doing any. You're not doing anything. Other factors that can affect your marks. Let's go, guys. Other factors that can affect your marks. Cheating in which sense, leadership, Tabel? How do you test the level of understanding? But it's fine the way you're thinking. I hear you, leadership, Ronaldo. I hear you. So I don't know how can I capture that one, unless it's your way of saying it's time up. How do I capture that one? How the lecturer how can I capture it? How the lecturer present what? A module. No, it's fine, leadership, Ronaldo. I don't know how can I capture it. That means you're going to judge it in the form of the lecturer is good, the lecturer is bad, be quantitative. Someone is saying consultations. If we are able to consultations. So you see, there are a lot of factors that can affect what. Yes, another one is there. The number of quizzes given before number of quizzes given before what? Before the test. Those type of things can help what? Can affect, yes, tutorials, attendance. Now, let me record tutorial attendance. You see, there are a lot of factors that can affect our score. You listed most of them are important here. The time you spend preparing for the test, the number of books you use, which is the material, attendance of classes, how the lecturer present the module, consultations. So if we can be able to collect this information, we can build a model and run. So the model will become what? The model will become multiple linear regression. So the challenge with simple linear regression, you are restricted to what? You are restricted to one independent variable. And in real life situation, in most cases, there's no way that can be only one factor, isn't it? Like now, let's check the issue of petrol. Why is petrol going up? We cannot say it's only because of one factor, isn't it? There are a lot of factors involved. The war in Ukraine is also another factor. Do you understand, guys, what is happening? So understanding is very, very important, because these things of we enjoy doing calculations, not understanding calculations for what is not right. Understanding is very, very important. So for today, for this session, allow me to stop now, and then we'll continue with the other parts when we in the afternoon. Any question that you want to ask, unless if you want to ask the water guy to clarify us. The one who spoke about the lecturer, that one I think is obvious. I can see where the student is going. So leadership Ronaldo, can we say I'm teaching you but I don't want you to pass? Oh, you want you're like me, you want clarity. Yeah, Omo is the one of the guys who said water. So the only way we can enjoy the module is when you understand the theory behind the multiple linear regression. Because I know you say, no, why are we not doing some calculations? No, let's understand the theory first before we can even go and do some calculations. So we'll be using matrix notation to solve problems under chapter 3. But even the ones that you have done with Chavalala, you can also do them using matrix notations. So the matrix notation that I'll be teaching, they can also be used to solve what we have covered with Mr. Chavala. So under multiple linear regression, we're not restricted to only 2 independent variables. We're not restricted to only 2. We can have as many independent variables as possible. So multiple doesn't mean that is 2. You can have more than one independent variables. There's no restriction of how many. So now in the afternoon, we have to recap the matrix now. The matrix, not the matrix from mathematics. Something that we expect you to understand by now. That is why one of the modules, one of the prerequisites of this module is SMTA 022. Yes, leadership?
Hey, we should discuss about the quizzes. Hey, these quizzes are dangerous, and the way you mark is too strict. So, hey, can you please calm down here?
I think that one you'll be with Mr. Chavalala tomorrow. Tomorrow, Mr. Chavalala will coming again to I think to conclude everything with you and have the last tutorial with you guys. I think that one direct it to Mr. Chabalala. But I don't understand. Let's talk about leadership. A quiz, we're checking if you are ready to what for the test. So if you feel like the quizzes are difficult, it means you are not ready for the test.
Hey, the way you check, say, it's disadvantage because we are failing and we are testing us. We are failing and we will need these marks.
Yeah, so it's fine. I will let's discuss that in the tomorrow with Mr. Chabalala. Is it fine, leadership? During the tutorials, we can talk about it.
Yeah, it's fine. So,
That is why I said the level of asking questions, it cannot be the same as the way we're asking questions from first year. This is an exit module. We need critical thinking.
yes, we understand that, but say, this thing of online is killing us. So you have to consider that.
But remember, the test, there was an agreement that you'll be writing in campus. I think that one will be sorted when coming to the test. So let's push leadership. Remember, there are some of the things that we don't have control of leadership. We don't have control on some of the things. So if we pay more attention on those things that we cannot change, I think at the end of the day, it's like wasting time. We cannot change it. If management said things should be like this, we cannot change them. So they just do what they're saying and focus on the parts that are what you're supposed to do yourself. Do your part, leadership. Do your part. We are here to help you. No, when you're growing up, leadership, are you gone?
I'm listening, sir. I'm listening.
Yeah. When you're still, is it 2
You are
months?
you are cutting. I don't know whether it's my network or it's your network now.
Yeah, guys, the class is over. Eh? Those who want to go to other classes, they can go. I just want to discuss with my leader. I want to give him a political example. Who are you? The class is over. Eh? Let me stop the recording.